Here are my 5 tips for beginner tattoo artists. Tip number 1, you need to be really good at drawing. There's just no way around it. If you want to be a successful, internationally renowned tattoo artist with a very specific signature style, you just have to get really good at drawing. And of course, this doesn't mean that you have to be extremely good in making portraits if what you love is geometry or symbols, or you just envision making abstract lines across people's bodies. But whatever it is that you do really like and what you want to bring into your tattooing, you have to just get really, really good at that. So if you do know the direction that you're going with your art and with your tattooing, then practice that as much as you can, because this will set you up for so much more success and a quicker learning curve in your tattooing. And if you don't know what you want or what style you like, just start with the basics. Draw still life, draw a plant, draw a shoe, a teacup. Start making portraits, practicing the proportions of a face. Draw real people that you see on the streets, take references from the internet and draw from there, and just practice as much as you can. There is a huge amount of really amazing tutorials on YouTube that you can just find very easily, and the more effort and energy you put into this, it will really pay off. For example, I started drawing, I don't know when, like honestly I've been drawing since I've been maybe 3 years old. And I went to art school, I went to classes after school where I would draw, I went to university and studied fine art. So when I came to the world of tattooing, when I did the 2-week course where I learned tattooing, it was actually quite easy for me to take everything I know and just translate that into this new technique, into this new way of creating art. My hand was already stable enough. I knew how to make shading, I knew color theory, I knew how to create contrast, and all of that made my tattooing journey a lot easier. And once I started tattooing, I just needed to learn the specific technique, but once I got that, it was a really fast and smooth journey. So your audience, your clients will trust you more as a professional tattoo artist if you have already really good artistic skills, right? I've seen this so many times. I've been working in tattoo studios where there are apprentices who come directly from art school, and as soon as they start tattooing, like a year into their tattooing, they're charging as much as I am charging. Their bookings are full, they're traveling around the world, they're opening their tattoo studio like 3 years into tattooing, and I'm just mind blown, right? And they did everything even quicker because they actually had a mentor who was there, who was teaching them. I didn't have that, but for me, it was already much quicker than for someone who also has to draw. But if you don't know how to draw yet, you can do it. If you invest time and energy into it, if you're really committed, I truly believe that anybody who really puts all of their attention and intention into it, they can become really good at drawing. Tip number 2, your environment is very important. If you're not tattooing yet, then I would suggest that you hang out with other artists, and that could even be online, right? Hanging out in forums, finding people on Instagram to follow, and really engage with their content and comment so that you can really show that you're there, that you're a human, and connect with other people, get inspiration from other artists. This will really boost your creativity. If you are already tattooing, then I really suggest looking for a tattoo studio that has life in it, that has artists that are really professional and good at what they're doing. Ideally, you would find a tattoo studio that has already a big following and a client base, that has guest artists coming in and out, that just has an environment that inspires you and pushes you to work more, or to just improve your skills. Of course, it's tempting and it's cheaper and it's easier to work in a tattoo studio, for example, where it's just friends, they open their tattoo studio and you can go in and out whenever you want, and they're not very known, but they're really friendly, and they're not great artists, but like at least you have a fun time, right? But it's different to work in a studio where people are really committed to what they're doing, where there's just like energy moving every day, and artists go there and they're really intentional with what they're creating, and you can feel that by being there you just have to step up. For example, I worked in many different studios, and there's this one example where I worked in this like basement tattoo studio in Berlin, and it was a cool tribe of really weird, awesome people, and I literally paid 50 euros for a day of tattooing. No matter how much I made, no matter how much I charged, we all just put down 50 euros for a day of tattooing. You can imagine how much more I got from tattooing when the usual amount is giving 30% of what you tattoo, right? But I still am really glad that I didn't stay in that studio, because I see now that I reflect back on it how I just was feeling comfortable. There wasn't much that pushed me, that inspired me, that motivated me, and I was also actually feeling a little bit weird bringing my clients there, because like it was cool, but I was trying to, you know, create a bigger name for myself, and so bringing my clients to this underground basement which had a super old couch, and of course like it's a vibe, but it's not what I was going for, and it didn't push me in the same way that other tattoo studios have pushed me, where people were just really alive and passionate about what they were doing. So find a place that is stretching you, find a place that challenges you, that is rich and abundant of inspiration, because all of this will consciously or unconsciously influence you, and maybe you don't notice it right away, but it will for sure dictate how far and how expensive your artistic and tattooing journey is. And tip number 3, the customer is not always right. You don't have to do what the customer is asking you to do. In other careers and other industries, the customer is always right and always has the last say, but here you are actually the one that should be dictating where the process is going. You can negotiate with your clients, you can tell them what you think looks better, and in a confident, clear, but also compassionate way, let them know that their ideas are valid and that you have a certain vision, that you have a certain direction that you would like to take this process or this design or this drawing. Of course, at certain times of your career, you will just have to listen to your client and do whatever you can, right? Because when we start and we're not very good and we don't have enough clients, we just want to take anybody and practice as much as possible. So there will be times where you will not be able to bring your creative visions and your creative genius to the tattoo process, and you'll just be doing infinity symbols and butterflies and whatever else. But the more confident you feel in your style, the more confident you feel with your drawing skills, the easier it will be for you to communicate with the client what you think would look better. And again, we're going back to tip number 1, which is that you just have to be really good at drawing. If the client already sees that you are really good at drawing, if you have a strong portfolio, they will be, again, trusting you more and dictating less. These days, I'm known for the style that I'm known for, right? So people don't come and expect me to draw an elephant with pink flowers on their head, on its head. People know what I'm good at and they know what they're gonna get. So I rarely have people disagreeing with my drawing process. I rarely have people that are unhappy with the design. And this is where you want to get to, right? So the more strong and distinctive your style is, the more people will give you artistic freedom with the creation, and the more confident you will feel to tell them why you want to take a design into this direction or another direction, and you will be able to stand by your choice and by your vision in a way that makes them feel like, oh wow, she knows what she's doing. So I think I agree with you. I just want to let the artists do their thing. Tip number 4. Your unique personality is where the gold is. When I look at the most successful tattoo artists, what I see that makes them stand out is that they found something that is truly unique, that is truly theirs, and that people know them for. And they usually stand out either because of their signature unique style in their art, or because they have this just like very unique personality. And sometimes it's both. For many of these artists, their craft has become an obsession. Like, for example, there are some artists, you barely see their face, right? But you look through their portfolio or their Instagram and you just see that they have this style that is, you just cannot deny that it is absolutely unique and special, and you just haven't seen it anywhere else, and so it sticks with you. Or there are some other artists, for example, they're okay, they're good, they're cool, but then maybe they're very popular, and especially now with reels on Instagram or TikTok, because they have a very special personality, and so they make these funny reels talking about the tattoo scene and the experiences with their clients, and it's more this warm or funny or like exciting personality that attracts people and makes them stand out. Yeah, makes them stand out. So here's where I ask you, what is your obsession, right? What is that something that you really love? What is your kink? For example, I am kind of obsessed with inner work and self-development and spiritual awakening. And can you see that in my style? Can you see how I brought that into what I do? And I honestly think that if I hadn't connected this passion of mine with my art, I wouldn't be tattooing anymore, because at a certain point I started doubting whether I wanted to be a tattoo artist. And I was already tattooing for a while, but there was something missing for me. And the more I started exploring who I truly am and what I love and what I'm obsessed with, and the more I brought that into my art, really, the amount of people that started resonating with what I do and loving it and being super touched by it and me feeling fulfilled by it, it's undescribable. So maybe you're in love with giraffes, maybe you love pink, maybe you've always made drawings of fish with hats, or maybe you love some tribal indigenous symbols and you cannot get enough of studying them. Whatever it is, either if you have it, just double down on that, or if you haven't found that yet, try different things and really see what you're pulled to, what really excites you when you draw it, when you study it, when you watch it, and pay attention to those cues and really follow that direction. And then the personality, right? See how it is for you, because maybe you are really shy, maybe you don't want to be on camera, maybe you don't want to show your face on Instagram, and that is also okay. But there's a difference between not wanting to do it because you're just really afraid that people will judge you and like you think you look so ugly on camera, and there being a clear boundary, like, no, I don't want my personal life online. If it's the first one, you can work through that, you can work on your fears, and maybe you will find out that people will really love your personality, and people really love people when they're vulnerable and share their behind the scenes and share their life and share their day-to-day routines. So I wouldn't be afraid of bringing that more to your audience. And tip number 5, patience and persistence. The tattooing career has definitely a lot of potential for a good income. You can be financially stable and abundant as a tattoo artist. But if you're coming to tattooing expecting that you're just gonna make a ton of money right away, but you don't have like a passion or a drive or a desire to draw and to improve your skills and to really focus on finding your style, it won't work for you. It just won't. So be ready to feel frustrated, to make mistakes, to be challenged, to be disappointed. It's all part of the journey. You're gonna have a hard time in the beginning, just like when you learn anything else. Maybe you've gotten tattoos before and you're looking at a tattoo artist and you're like, I could do that. They charge 500 for that? I could do that, no problem. But you don't realize just how much goes into it, how much they've had to learn, how challenging it is to actually find the right way to stretch the skin and to position the needle so it goes in, to make sure that it's not too deep, to make a design that lasts for years and years, to sit in the correct way, to find the right tools. There's so much that goes unseen for you looking on the outside. Be ready for a journey and to have a hard time in the beginning. And this is where we come back to tip number 1. The better you are in drawing and the more skilled you are, the quicker your learning curve will be and the less frustration you will experience, because you will already have so many skills. You will just have to learn how to translate that from pencil or from watercolor or from oil painting to needles and skin. And there is a lot of things to learn there, but if you already have the artistic capabilities, it will be so much smoother for you. And this is where we also circle back to tip number 2, which is to have a community around you, to have people who are also into it, either artists or tattoo artists, because on those days that you will make a mistake and that you will make a tattoo that you really don't like, it will be so much easier to reach out to another artist and be like, oh my god, I don't know what to do, please support me, please help me. And they'll be like, dude, you're fine. I also made mistakes, you're gonna be okay. Just like breathe, relax, and it will be a lot smoother for you if you have people who understand what you're going through. So let's review. Tip number 1, you have to be really good at drawing. Tip number 2, your environment is very important. Tip number 3, the client is not always right. Tip number 4, your unique personality is where the gold is. And tip number 5, have patience and persistence. I hope this helped you. I hope this is supporting you. If you resonate, please like, subscribe, all the YouTube things, and I'll see you in the next video.